On June 17, 2007, the Stott family, Jeff, Mona, and Danielle, should have been celebrating the 25th birthday of Danielle's little brother, Joey. Instead, friends, family, and loved ones gathered to honor Joey's life at his funeral. It's been just over 6 years since the day Joey took his own life, a tragedy that has forever changed an entire family and those who were closest to him. Joey's death has left a void in the lives of his family. His dad, Jeff, views each day that Joey is gone as a day that is both half full and half empty.
I have a wonderful daughter and a great family and a lovely wife and a good life. I have a farm that I share with my family, and we enjoy each other's company, and I was lucky enough to be born into a very large family with wonderful parents, and that's the full part of it. And the empty part of it is when my daughter tackles a job and she needs somebody to help her out. It wasn't supposed to be me, and it is. So she gets reminded every time that she needs me that there's a hole in our life, and I don't need any reminder. It can't discount every good thing that goes on in my life, and it won't. And it doesn't define who Joey was, and it won't. But nonetheless, it's still a tragic situation, and leaves a lot of days half empty.
Outwardly, it seemed as if Joey had everything going for him.
He was a difference maker. He was the life of the party. He was the most handsome guy that would walk into the room. He got that from his mother or somebody else, but he was a striking young man, and he was magnetic. He was a brilliant young man, and as probably most of our kids are. And we had a terrible interruption on a really bad day.
For Jeff, his perspective on what that really bad day is would most likely be very different from almost everybody else's.
I suffer from mental illness and almost took my own life.
Jeff is very candid about his battle with depression and mental health issues. He is very adamant, though, that in spite of his own suicide attempt, his intention never was to, in fact, end his life.
To reach back into my file, I had no intention of taking my life. I had no plan of taking my life. When I woke up in the hospital with my family, I was the most surprised person in the room. They were surprised that I lived. I was surprised that I arrived. I'm not the kind of guy this happens to. This isn't the kind of thing that goes on in my life. This isn't the kind of thing that is in my family. This isn't the kind of ending that I had seen. This isn't a whole lot of things. This is something that was a little bit out of my control. And I'm a bit of a controller. So that was a frightening moment for me. And has every day since. But I have learned I cannot control everything now. I never thought that before. And that some of the things I can't control are pretty powerful. I've even had people that said, I don't believe you, when they had the guts to ask me, and I gave them the straight up answers. And they say, you walk around in the community like it didn't even happen. What am I supposed to do? I'm not ashamed. I'm certainly not ashamed of my son. I never have been. I never will be. I am not ashamed of myself for that. I'm ashamed of myself for many things, but not that.
One of Jeff's biggest concerns is the stigma that still exists when it comes to mental illness.
The thing that keeps people from talking about mental health issues is they're believed to be broken, or they have a flaw of character. The fact of the matter is that everybody has mental issues. Think of your bad days. Are they just bad days, or are they really challenges emotionally to you? So when I talk about Joey, I'm talking about a far above average young man who's had a really bad day one day. And I don't want to discount it by calling it a really bad day, but it was a really bad day, I'm sure of it. And I'm familiar with those bad days, and that's all it has to be, is a really bad day.
Jeff is adamant that the conversation surrounding mental health issues needs to be brought to the forefront to encourage those dealing with mental illness to come forward and seek the help they need before tragedy occurs.
The highest killer among youths is mental illness. Recorded killer. What about the ones that aren't recorded? Do you think that it only affects oddballs or weirdos or something? That it doesn't. It affects the normal, the exceptional, the brilliant, the simple. It doesn't pick and choose. And it is the highest cost of non-productive days in our society. We pay for this, all of us, all the time. But we always want to pay on the back end. We always want to pay in a reactive fashion.
Jeff and his wife Mona are the driving force behind the annual Imagine Run, an event that raises money and awareness for mental health programming through Eden Healthcare Services. Their wish is that no other family ever has to go through the pain of losing a loved one to suicide.
I don't for one second think that he gave up. I didn't give up. I don't think for one second my son gave up. I think that everything that could go wrong, when I say a bad day, and I sum it up in a bad day so simply, I think when I say everything that could go wrong, that day went wrong. Right down to the fact that I missed saving his life by probably minutes. So, if you think a minute isn't important, I left my shoes at the door, but come walk in my shoes and you'll know what difference a minute will make.